They always talk about how, like, the left is mentally ill or this shit, this and that. Like, dude, you have people donating, like millions of dollars to your cause and then just, like, fucking offing themselves. Well, howdy, darlings. This is Credulous here. We're just watching the collapse of human society and the obliteration of the world one YouTube video at a time. One right-wing YouTube video at a time. In this case, we're going to be doing it through another metric, this time MSNBC. So Rachel Maddow's here. She's given us a little taste of what's to come, which is a whole lot of white supremacy and just wacko fucking ideology fringe shit making it into the mainstream, which has been the trend for like the past 10 years, I reckon. So this segment is going to be about Kanye West, Donald Trump, and a new contender. This one is Nick Fuentes. So Nick Fuentes, he's this dude, this guy, this ambitious little fucker. He has been pretty infamous on the internet since about 2020, but obviously he has his roots much earlier. He is basically banned off of YouTube, among several other social media platforms, for espousing anti-Semitic, white supremacist, racist, sexist, fucking super ultra traditionalist, anti-democracy views. And you're going to find out exactly what the fuck I mean. I'm not going to have to say it for you. Rachel Maddow ain't going to have to say it for you. He will do it himself. So here we are. I did a little pre-watching for you because God knows we need it.
We've got the leading presidential contender for the Republican nomination in 2024 this holiday weekend having a nice Thanksgiving dinner with Kanye West, the rapper who just lost all of his corporate sponsorship deals when he started saying he was going to go DEFCON 3 on the Jews.
So, that's some pretty pro-gamer language from Kanye West there. But Kanye West is not a pro-gamer. He is just this dude that needs a lot of help. And a whole lot of people have failed him. So, basically what DEFCON 3 refers to, DEFCON refers to, I think it's defense condition or something? Yeah, that's what it is. Defense ready condition. And this is a metric, 1 through 5, that the United States military uses to determine and define a threat, both domestic and foreign. Usually this is in reference to nuclear armaments, I think, in pop culture, in the colloquial usage. So, what he means by we need to go DEFCON 3 on the Jews is, I'm sure he's not actually well-versed in what defense-ready condition means, but basically that's more than likely just a reference that he wants to, quote, nuke the Jews, however he means that. I just go ham on the Jews, just fucking oust them, fucking whatever he's been parroting lately, So, that's just a little tidbit of info for you.
The leading Republican presidential candidate, their last president, Donald Trump, just hosted Mr. West this weekend. And also this man for what was apparently a very nice Thanksgiving dinner at the former president's home.
Here we go.
When you look at these things like abortion, it's popular. People like abortion, hate it, but it's true. And you can thank the Jewish media for that.
People like access to abortion. I don't know anybody that actually likes abortions. It's usually a pretty emotional roller coaster there, for everybody. So
that abortion's popular, sodomy's popular, being gay is popular, being a feminist is popular, sex out of wedlock is popular, contraceptives that's all
of those are popular. That is true. That is true. I'll give him that.
Popular. That's all. That's not to say it's good. That's not to say I like that. Popular means the people support it, which they do. And
you're about to see how much he doesn't like the people's support.
And it sucks, and it is what it is, but that's why we need dictatorship. That's unironically
there it
why
is.
We need to get rid of all that.
Motherfucking dictatorship. This dude, for those of you who don't know him, this is Nick Fuentes, right here. This is the guy. And yes, that's a green screen in his background. He just not actually speak from some, ivory tower, although he's getting there, as you can see. So, basically, dictatorship, monarchy, hereditary, singular ruler, that's all the ideology of the simp. This is simp ideology. These are people that are idolizers. They worship a human. In this case, he worships Donald Trump. Donald Trump is his god. That is his Christ. You see? This is always how this shit goes. It is the cult of personality manifested as a political movement. These people vie for a dictatorship as long as the dictator is on their side. Which, as we know with dictatorships, as we know with monarchies, all of this shit, it is never the case. These things always collapse under their own weight. They fall apart because you create a position of power, which is, I can't believe I have to fucking address this, but Jesus Christ, here I am in the West, having to address a monarchy, a dictatorship. But you create a position of power for which you plant your own ideology. You plant an individual for whom you simp, and they do, in essence, everything that you want them to do. The problem is when they die, they leave that power open. They leave the seat open to anyone whose shit-covered, floppy fucking inbred cheeks want to sit there. So then what do you have? You have someone that you can't necessarily trust. You have people that are all going to be attracted to that power vacuum right there. They're not even going to do what you want them to do. This is always the case throughout history. These fucking kings and queens, these oligarchs, all of these people, you have to be absolutely subservient to them. You have to bend over backward for them in any and all cases. And even if you're willing to do that, you have to ensure that everyone else in the country is going to do that as well. This is an impossible role to fulfill. This is an impossible fucking goal. You can't please everybody. But nonetheless, you're going to be in power. That's why democracies have worked, because at least they give you a glimmer of hope. They give you the essence of choice, even if it is a flawed democracy. But these dictatorships, they're in your face telling you, I'm going to do what I want, and you have no say in this. Like, dude's a fucking Catholic warmonger, Catholic kingmonger here, but as soon as a Protestant gets into the seat, I wonder what's going to happen to him. I wonder how much of a little bitch he'll be. I think it'll just be the classical liberal all over again, you know?
We need to take control of the media or take control of the government and force the people to believe what we believe.
Which is super funny. I just want to say, the huge irony in this is that dudes like this, and including him, he is all about freedom of speech. He's all about freedom of speech until he's in power. Until people like him are in power. This is fascism. This is fascism incarnate. This is definitionally fascism. They will play the victim at every opportunity they get, and they know exactly what they're doing. These people are cruel. They are cold. They are evil from the inside. And this is what we're allowing to take over the country. This is what we're flooding the media with, you know? Even Rachel Maddow here. I don't think this would have been aired like 20 years ago or something. The unfortunate part is I trust MSNBC in this regard because I think they're just airing it to tear it apart, because now it's gotten to the point where it's like, Jesus Christ, like all of these fucking people believe this shit now. So we have to address it. Unfortunately, Rachel Maddow here is not going to do much to address it. She's just going to talk into the echo chamber of her already, moderate to liberal audience. And she's just going to say things that aren't actually going to affect any change or change any minds. They're just going to cement the same mindset that already exists in these people. The problem is that's not what fascists are doing. Fascists are a lot more creative at this stuff, Liberal media has become far too decadent. They think you can just, furl your brow and go, really? You think that's going to work? They just think you can give this, leftist smugness, and the problem will it'll just go away. Excuse me, that's not quite a leftist tactic. Leftists actually fucking take up arms and do something about it. But liberals don't. Liberals just furl their brow and they go well, that's not very nice. And I like Rachel Maddow, I do. But, that's what her people do. This is what their people do. They are not proactive enough in actually stopping this. Shockingly, the social media companies have been more proactive in stopping this than anybody. But that's another thing, is you have to play to the fact that the fascists are going to paint themselves as the victims, as they always have, as they always do. Look at what Russia does. Russia initiates a whole fucking war. It invades all of its neighboring countries. And then it calls itself the victim. Oh, NATO, you're too close to the border. You're too close to the... That's why NATO fucking exists. It's because you were just an expansionist piece of shit. That's why NATO exists. I'm shocked because people have conflicting views about Russia very often. They're gonna have conflicting views about this guy. This guy can tell you. He can tell you he wants to kill Jews. He can tell you he wants to make women subservient. He can tell you he wants to stop women from voting. He can tell you all of this shit to your face, and you're gonna go like, I don't know, maybe we should hear him out, guys. This is a cult of violence. DEFCON 3 the Jews? Kanye, you motherfucker. That's a call to violence. That's what it is. What good can come out of that shit? Yeah, shut that bitch down, go ahead. I do believe in freedom of speech. But I really do think there comes a time where we have to be pragmatic about some things. That's how the fucking United States government works. That's how the FBI works. That's how they shut down everything. Not that I like everything they've shut down, but that's how it is. We believe in the freedom of speech. We believe in the freedom of all of this shit until it gets to a point like, maybe a one-size solution doesn't fit all.
Force people to believe what we believe. We need a dictatorship, unironically. So that clip is from People for the American Way. They have a project called Right Wing Watch, where they monitor and document what's going on the ultra-right, on the far-right fringe.
That's what you gotta do. By the way, I'm your Right Wing Watch. I'm here for you. I got this shit. I'm gonna spill all of Nick Fuentes' beans. All of them.
And that's a great public service all of the time. I'll tell you, it becomes a fire alarm system for the whole country when someone from that fringe, someone from that far out on the political spectrum ends up having a Thanksgiving dinner with the Republican Party's leading candidate for president.
Here's the pathway. We have one more election where white people can make the decision. The white people got to make the right decision, and then Trump's got to get in there and never leave. That, to me, at this point, is a pathway. It's time to shut up, elect Trump one more time, and then stop having elections.
But Trump isn't going to be the only one to fill that seat. Remember what I said. He's not going to be the only one to fill that seat. Trump might be adorable in some ways. He might look harmless. But someone's going to fill that seat that's going to fucking piss off everybody. And it's going to piss off this dude right here. It'll come sooner or later, but it'll come. He's too outspoken.
View and what it would look like to build a society based on our distinct worldview. It looks like a society where women don't have the right to vote. And it looks like a society where boys and girls get married as teenagers and start having kids. And they don't use birth control and they don't use contraception.
I know that the cutting was weird and that looks really out of context, but I promise he's not joking here. This is actually unironically his worldview. And yes, this motherfucker had Thanksgiving dinner with the former president. And yes, the former president has commented and said that he is impressed by Nick Fuentes, at least according to Kanye West. Watch, By the way, he's gonna be fucking talking about Jim Crow in a second. Kanye West, dude, what are you doing?
Taliban rule in a
Wait.
And they don't use contraceptives, and they have big families and a high birth rate, and it looks like women wearing veils at church, and it looks like women not being in the workforce. Banning gay marriage is back on the menu. Banning sodomy is back on the menu. Banning contraceptives is back on the menu.
The really shitty part is he's right about all of that. He is absolutely right about all of that. This is his agenda, and all of this shit is back on the menu. It really is, and it's cooking. You know? That's what we've gotten ourselves into. This is liberals. This is the furrow brow. Really? You shouldn't be saying things like that. This is what this liberal ideology has gotten us. It's weak. It's good for places that don't have a fascist takeover in the process. But this dude is evidence. They're not doing anything about this dude. They're not.
And basically, we're having something like Taliban rule in America, in a good way. We're having something like a Catholic Taliban rule in America. Who cares? You know, enough with the Jim Crow stuff. Who cares? Oh, they had to drink out of a different water fountain. Big deal. Oh no, they had to go to a different school. Their water fountain in that famous picture was worse. Who cares? Grow up, drink out of the water fountain. It's water. It's the same. And, even if it was bad, who cares? Who cares? It's better. It's better in general. We all agree.
It's better. It's better. Jim Crow, segregation, it was better. Almost all of that was posted by People for the American Way, their project Right Wing Watch, which monitors stuff like this on the far right, which is usually only of interest to people who study the far right, but it suddenly becomes totally relevant to everyone else in the country when a guy like that suddenly ends up invited to the home of the Republican Party's leading presidential candidate to have a private Thanksgiving dinner with him. That guy and former President Donald Trump. I should tell you, he is also a Holocaust denier. I'm not going to show you those clips of him denying the Holocaust, but they're there. He not only explicitly calls for the imposition of a dictatorship in this country, he's explicitly praised Hitler.
I'll fucking show you him denying the Holocaust. Fuck it. Let's see what's going on here. I think this is it. The America First podcast.
If you hate Jesus, you have a problem with me. Newsflash, and every...
He looks so fucking drunk in this. If you hate Jesus, you got a problem with me. Yeah.
Christian, this should be the mantra. If you hate Jesus, you have a problem with Christians. Straight up. Don't tell me religious Jews or whatever. Question, do you hate Jesus? Because if you do, that's a problem. That's a big problem.
It doesn't matter about the Jesus thing. That's not it at all. He's just using that as a defensive measure. Really, he's just going to tell the Jews to just fucking go home.
It's especially a big problem if you have any influence whatsoever. If you hate Jesus and you have influence, it's my job that you don't have influence anymore.
It's not about the Jesus. It's not about Jesus. It's just if you're Jewish and have influence. That's his dog whistle here. It's not really a dog whistle. It's like a dog clap. It's like a dog humping Donald Trump's leg or something. That's what he's about. No, so this is just remove the Jesus part from this, because it's not about that. He's referring to the Romans who had him crucified on behalf of the Jewish rabbi class. So really, he's just referring to Jews, because all Jews must hate Jesus. If you're a Jew, probably in your fucking blood too. I wouldn't doubt, even if you were a secular Jew, it wouldn't matter. He would still hate you.
More, because I'm a real Christian. I'm not just one of these, hey, believe whatever you want. Our job is to save souls and get people to heaven and fight the devil. So don't tell me they're entitled to their religion. If their religion involves my Lord in hell, then they can get the fuck out of America, frankly.
Jews don't have a hell. At least, I don't know. I haven't heard of this, but...
Insofar as that's your belief, then you have no business being here. Certainly have no business being anywhere near the levers of power if you believe that. Because who do you serve if you don't serve Jesus Christ? You serve the devil. You serve Satan. Oh, I'm anti-Semitic? Yeah, whatever. You can call me whatever you want. You hate Jesus. Your opinion doesn't matter to me. Call me whatever you want. Do you believe in God? Oh, okay. Opinion discarded. Opinion thrown in the garbage and pissed on. Oh, I'm anti-Semitic? Yeah, I piss on your Talmud. You think I...
Yeah, right.
And, of course, everything that's in the news is about my dinner that I had with the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, as well as Ye, and some other people,
Kanye.
some of my new friends. And so...
Ye is Kanye, also referred to as Yeezy, just for those who don't know. I'm usually not super big into pop culture, but I mean, I gotta be lately, so...
As you know now, I've been speaking with Ye and working with him. And we went out to Mar-a-Lago in Florida this week, and we had a very interesting dinner, which I'm sure you've all read about. There's a great article about it in Axios today, which went over the details, I think, very accurately. The central idea to the show is that God is real. Jesus Christ is God. And yet the country is run by people that don't believe this and don't know this and don't live this.
He just means the Jews. He just means the Jews here. I promise.
And we talked about who they are. They are largely Jewish. And they're defined what a Jewish...
Oh! Well, that's what I get for not pre-watching.
person is someone who's defined in their rejection of Jesus Christ. It's what they are. You know, this has become a little bit of a scandal for President Trump, and you know, at the dinner, I'll provide you with a little bit of detail for what it's worth. I told the president, and the president, I don't think he does know who I am, or rather, he didn't know that I was me. Let me put it that way. I don't think he knew that I was me at the dinner. Let's put it that way. I don't know if I'm going to say he didn't know me, but I'm not sure about that. But certainly he didn't know that I was me when I arrived at the dinner.
He just knows that his visage, his image, is bad for Trump. If this guy is associated with Donald Trump, if Donald Trump fully endorses this guy, then that's basically it for Trump's campaign. Because maybe, fuck, I don't know. People surprise me all the goddamn time in my country, but here it is. Yeah, this is just him trying to distance himself safely from Trump, you know?
And, you know, I didn't mean for my statements and my, you know, my whole background to sort of be, to become a public relations problem for the president. But I told him at the dinner, I said, Mr. President, I said, you are one of the greatest Americans that has ever lived. I campaigned for you in 2016. I was there in Stop the Steal in Harrisburg, Lansing, Atlanta, D.C., Phoenix. I said, and I love you. And
again, this was the motherfucker that was campaigning in 2016 for this dude. 2016. This racist, anti-Semitic, Holocaust-denying, fucking woman-hating piece of shit right here. And people still voted for him. People still voted for Trump.
And I supported you for all these years.
Also, this guy's like really young. He's 24. Very, very young dude. But nonetheless, I mean, this is the degree to which he's attained his fame. You know? He's way up there. Having dinner with the president and shit. After saying all this that he has. I'll also tell you, I don't know how long ago this was, but it was the case. He received an anonymous donation from a French donor in Bitcoin. I think it was Bitcoin, some cryptocurrency. He received 13.5 tokens of this currency, this virtual currency, and I think this amounted to almost $300,000 from an anonymous French donation. And this was just his part of the donation. This same donor had donated to several other right-wing groups and right-wing pundits, political commentators, etc. But his was by far the greatest. Nick Fuentes here. He got the lion's share. And as well, the fucking donor attached a suicide note, allegedly, attached a suicide note to the donation when he sent this out. So it's just like phenomenal fucking shit here. Like this is the degree to which they always talk about how like the left is mentally ill or this shit, this and that. Like, dude, you have people donating like millions of dollars to your cause and then just like fucking offing themselves. Like, as if the whole right wing isn't defined by a mental illness and paranoia and just hatred of other groups. This is his whole shtick.
You know, and I thought that was important because he really has been a hero of mine, and he has been the guy for the last 6 years. Although, based on the announcement speech that we saw a couple of weeks ago, and based on everything that I've just said, we have to move forward. We have to move forward in service of Christ, in service of the truth, and in service of America. We can't move backwards. And I'm going to weigh in.
This dude needs to pick his Christ. Because right now he's contending between Donald Trump and then whatever the hell Christianity has cocked up for this dude. This is what he's contending with. So, like, I can't with this motherfucker. You know? This is just simp ideology. Pure simphood.
A little bit, just a little bit, because it's, like I said, I have to be careful because there's a little bit of discretion involved here. But I'll say this, a race between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump, as he is running right now, about the radical left and inflation, versus DeSantis, it just isn't what the country needs right now. Let's put it this way. That dialectic, DeSantis and a moderate Trump, it's a huge retreat from 2016. It's a huge retreat. And it cedes so much ground. I thought after 2016...
This is just damage control. He's trying to say that Donald Trump isn't actually radical enough for him. But he fully believes he is. He fully believes this. He knows Donald Trump is radical as fuck. Donald Trump's over here having dinner with White supremacist. He said that one of his closest friends is the leader of the KKK. Donald Trump did. It's like he's not radical enough. He's not a moderate candidate at all. This is him. This dude's just doing damage control for him because he knows that he's a toxic, he's a noxious cancer upon Donald Trump's public image.
16, we've been moving forward, but it seems that in 2020 and 2024, the messaging has been moving backwards. We've been told for years,
speed this up a little,
that we need to be patient and that we need to make excuses for people and that we need to rationalize.
I know I speak slow, but
and that we need to favor a risk-averse, incremental, quietist approach. Because let's be honest, this country is completely messed up and there is so much wrong. There are satanic people in charge of this country that do not believe in God. And this country is becoming more secular by the day. And that is in addition to all the other problems. The borders are open and the money's being printed like crazy and censorship is in overdrive. You can't tell the truth. The whole system's rigged. The country's totally subverted by foreign governments and transnational.
This is a huge problem as well, because we have a problem deconstructing all of his arguments. He's kind of like Ben Shapiro here, where it's like you can't deconstruct all of the arguments because he's so deep in his own shit. You can't even begin to construct the theology-based arguments that he has. He almost sounds right with it, because if you're a Christian, you're on board the God train. You're too busy dealing with his fascistic argument and his racist and fucking all of this terrible problematic shit. He's just like, he's fucking piling it on. You cannot keep up with it. You can't keep up. You can't break down his religious arguments. You can't say how bullshit that is on a theological basis. You can't say like how the fuck do you know any of this shit exists? You can't even contend with the secular arguments because you're so busy taking down the political ones, you know? And in that, he overwhelms people. He gets so many followers because you're not even thinking about the religious shit. He's telling you we need a religious society. We need it right the fuck now. And then he's saying, and here's the horrible lengths that I'm going to go with regard to an abuse of power in order to exact and realize those ambitions. And you're too busy dealing with the ambitions he's trying to realize, so you can say like, whoa, slow the fuck down. Why do we need a theocratic society? And then he's going to say like, well, because this country is going to hell in a handbasket. How the fuck do you know? Well, just look at it. You know? He just piles it on. And none of his shit is actually, you can't actually take it apart. You can't use the facts and logic that Ben Shapiro loves to use. Ben Shapiro does a very similar thing in a slightly more tact, you know?
National companies and so on. Saying, I love Trump. I really love Trump. And I went out there and stopped the steal, literally ready to die for Donald Trump. I really did. I wore a bulletproof vest. And I was there for all of it. And I paid for it with my own money, doing Stop the Steal. We answered.
You're not really ready to die if you wear the vest. If you wanted to die for Trump, you should take off the vest next time.
Answered the call. We were there in Lansing. We were there in Atlanta for weeks. We were there in Phoenix and D.C. 3 times, Harrisburg. And it's not just personally that I was treated like garbage because, you know, I don't have a big ego about those things. I can be a team player and I can play ball, but it's not just that, but it's not moving forward. It has to move forward. And that is why, it's a big part of why I'm taking a step back from the show. It's to get a little bit more involved as we always intended to do. There is no future if we do nothing now. There is nothing to lose. People that are scrambling, trying to protect their ever-shrinking share of what they have.
Anyway, he's just rambling at this point. It's just fear-mongering. But, you know, that's all they have for a platform anyway. Anyway, this is Credulous. Thank you very much for joining me on this. I'm very sorry you had to see a lot of that, but, you know, that's where we are. That's what it is. We can't ever fix the problem if we don't address it and acknowledge it. And this is the problem. Motherfuckers like this is the problem. Motherfuckers that donate to him are the problem. Motherfuckers that support him, share his videos, tout the same kind of horrid rhetoric as him. These are the problem. These are the people in your lives that are the problem. I'll also have it mentioned, there's another streamer, there's a political streamer named Destiny. He's like, you know, leftist, kind of liberal, moderate, whatever. I know I've been using those terms interchangeably and totally abusing it, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, Destiny is definitely not on board with any of the shit this guy is saying. But he he did go ahead and try and get in cahoots with this guy. Sorry, I'm trying to use as many Yiddish words as possible just to fuck this guy. Anyway, he got in cahoots with Nick Fuentes here and invited him to his house. They were hanging out in Florida, all that. They were having lunch together. And they were just like sitting down in his room and talking. And a lot of it has been streamed, you know? But Destiny, this streamer, this leftist streamer, he spent so fucking long trying to talk this dude out of his positions, trying to like reason with him, trying to just engage in like, fuck, I don't know, street epistemology. Just like, how do you know what you know? Why are you committing to this? Is there any other way? Is there any other option for you? And he just would not back down. It was shockingly civil and amicable between these two, but in the end, this is what this guy is, you know? He's this horrible, hurt individual. He absolutely loathes, despises women, for no good reasons. And, he just kind of wants a theocracy. He wants to just push his views on you in the worst possible fucking way. Literally with the dictatorship, man. I don't know. I think everyone on the right and left should unite behind just getting this motherfucker off of these streams, man. Just get this motherfucker out of the house of political candidates, man. He's a cancer. Jesus.